Tangwe doji chajara zonrong, yunja mato doji bonjo ma, sarja lumbo tabara jipeka. Shaje jabe jadongu zonzal, durje janjen de lo naruta, marpa mala chuje gambo ba, Mahamudra ba javan Drigung ba, kaju lama nanje da junje. Nanandana zera tamje de lama labba la ye jiso zong, la san yon den jam zu nga la wan, den de ton chen de be ke le zo, da ge lo chu san ro war sin je lab dos. Ju lam dan ro war sin je lab dos, lan chu wa se war sin je lab dos, chu wa yi shi san ja war sin je lab dos. Kange den jen de wan jong, gao ba me ba je, me ba che ba me ba tai, me ba wa me ba ro me. Ta de de me don je me, zhu ba nye je je den ba, zu bu san je ma nan je, tam ba de la xiang za du. Zhen je za ba la ma je je ku song du je xin la da da. Da ge ju lan ben ne, da ge den ba dan, sun jian jia dong jia jian bang, zhe bar xin je la du so. Nam kwa tang nyambe senjin tamji chitun de dingde lan me ba yang da ba zubu sanji je gong pang rumbo chito par xia. Di chito tambi chu kanki sinde do nyamse lamar jiwo nyambe samba jancho chu de semji ba da. Chu nyimbe kunju da kunlong manarbu go ne simbar nsar. De la gang simbar sawe chu ne tam chu gungba jikpa. Dorji song jata ngapju jinte chepa kabri tela tsomdun yobananke kun la pimba timder tsom chepa kabri tela da dorji song kareke tingkendo hyuba ina zopar zamne retab junche mis Teniki think you pares.
So cultivate the motivation, thinking may all sentient beings limitless or state attain the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete enlightenment. And for this sake, I will listen to the Dharma and then engage in its practice. To cultivate his mind of bodhicitta, and after having given rise to this unmistaken motivation for listening to the Dharma we are receiving is the single intention or the Gong Chik, consisting of 150 Vajra statements and 7 sections, and we are now in the second section of interdependent origination that brings the benefit, is of benefit to all. And we are on Vajra statement number 12. Except for the predominantly greater and lesser numbers, the obtaining of results continuously occurs.
Nandela Sanji Ketimbanda Lo Ngatong la ne Paris Tenindela Drevu Kutu Siores Drevu Kutu the Tatara Yusimbares Teni Tata Dan Drevu and Sanji Chu Nyamli Sena Yang Drevu Tugumari Sena and Gahek Laku Bares Yin Yang Jikten Sumgön Sundu the Drevu to Sen Mixa Miade So Chechong la Part Chechong and Ravola Gongri Mato Tata Yang Sanji Chu Drumna and Drevu Togure Song.
So it is said that the Buddha's teachings ngap tong ra ngap kya marwa
ngap ja cha chö ri de te cha chö de nga tong ri no do
madora. So that it is said that the Buddhist teachings remain for 10 sets of 500 or 5,000 years, and that is, this period is referred to as the time of the result, and it is said that this time is over now. And now, since we are not in the time of the result, some people they claim that during this time, even if one engages in the practice of the dharma, one will not attain any results. So after those years have passed, it does not occur that one obtains results. But Jikten Sumgön had said that it is referred to as the period of results because for the most part, this is what happens. Results are obtained. That's why it is referred to as that. But even now, still, if one engages in practice, then again, results will be obtained.
Tani ngap ja cha chö de zitang de kan ra re si na ngap ja cha tang bo de la dra chom ben de to bu du dra chom ba to bu du cha ni ba de la cher mong wa to de bu to bu du cha sum ba de la cher ong wa de bu to bu du
Che wong bara. Oh yeah.
cher mong wa da teni sum ba de la jun de Kyobpa kan de bu to bu du jun yo dang bo de dra chom
Chi yong wa mara ba.
ye ya ma dang bo dra chom ni ba de cher mong wa de bu sum ba de jun yo de som la yi shi kong de chu bu la song go yo res
So how these like 10 sets of 500 years are divided is that first there is a period of 3 different sub periods. So the first period is the time, also we are in a period of results. So here, in this period, beings obtain the result of becoming an arhat. Then in the second period, people become non-returners. And in the third period, people become stream enterers. So each of those 500 years. So then these 3 together make the section of wisdom, the wisdom section.
Teni ngap ja chang yipa de la hirap ke le ta lam thong ke le la gu yo re meng ji pa ren do thong da ji pa ren do teni ngap ja cha ngapa de la ting in jing ke le teni ngap ja cha drupa de la chucham ji le se du de la drup le la gu yo res
That's a sumnyam do.
Te sumnyam de la.
Then the next set of 3, so each consisting of 500 years, is the period of accomplishment. And the first 500 years of that, which is the 4th set of 500 years then, is the division of discriminating wisdom or higher insight, which are the same in meaning. Then the 5th division of 500 years is the division of samadhi. Then the sixth one is the division of disciplined conduct. And so together, those set of three divisions of 500 years is referred to as the period of accomplishment.
Tene ngabja cha dumba de la ngumba cha jepa de la ndode cha goba de la ndwa si de tene long level la yoris de som.
Then the seventh set of 500 years is referred to as the period of the Abhidharma. Then the eighth set of 500 years is the period of the sutras, and the ninth period of 500 years is the period of the Vinaya, and so together they are referred to as the period of scriptural authority.
Tene da ngabja cha Kyobpa de tama de Kyobpa de la ta zimzin bele la ko yoris. Ta de da ngabja cha Kyo de na ne tene nrebu to ko yoris ga du yin yang. Tene de la sanje ke tara de dawa nim bundo na na kare song yoris na. Timba no ka de la yang tene dra chomba tipa la so banjong atang tene celo ya joni celo tukja ba de yam perne tene nepti churo la so ba chone chomba la tene de so dra chomba kompang to ba song yo zang tene ko nrebu mena yang tene ta Nyangelen de Benrebu Togure so.
Then the 10th, then the last set of 500 years is referred to as the final period of mere science. And during any of those 10 periods, results can be obtained. The Buddha said in the Moon Essence Sutra that in the past the Buddha Sarata he appeared at the decline of the teachings at a time when lifespan was then again was down to a low of 10, and then increasing from 10 to 600 years. And so during that time, they said that 16 arhats will appear. So they will attain the result of arhatship. And even though this is not a period of results, still the result of nirvana is obtained.
Tene da dorji song deke hirap lapa hundun roang yu song dan dal chirtang around lapa som de lapa sutram je lapa nyamlen ji tene lapa tengen zen je lapa tene lapa hirak lapa zo koram te ta de te ta chik de tara koram ro go nge ba yo mari hirap lapa hundun roang yu re song ji ti song.
And then we come to the next Vajra statement, 13. It also occurs that the superior training of discriminative knowledge precedes. So we have three superior trainings that normally, generally are explained as having a certain progression. So first one trains in ethical conduct, and then in one practices samadhi, and then the superior training of discriminative knowledge or wisdom. But even though that's the general order of those higher trainings, it is not always necessary that order. It also occurs that the superior training of wisdom or discriminative wisdom comes first.
Tanda yung tang rawo te teni lama chini da dimbe teni loma nu da dimba la teni menga te loma de jule jene teni loma te la teni ngombar to pa hirap ji laba jule je teni de ji ne te ke da tingen zin ji laba jun jong teni de ji ne da toni jumres Dawa si da tsutram ji laba nyam sule ne tanda yongore sondo.
For example, it happens that when an authentic guru bestows his instructions onto a disciple who is a proper vessel, and then these instructions arise in that disciple's mind stream, then the disciple first develops the training of superior training of discriminating wisdom. And then after that, they maintain a continuum of samadhi, training in samadhi. And then after that, they realize the arising of emptiness as cause and result.
Dala tene Choban Jikten Sumgön Kore Gomi ke topa jule jine tene yene lapa tsutran ji lapa langwaris tena sungdo da gomi de ngaran zo chachin ke namje yenang ne ke gomi se yoa te gomi chung reng chimbo som nangke karen sipo hakoma som kanda gomi ke topa jule jine tena kongke tsutran ji lapa yibaris Jirtang kong gambo pun dun la yung dogang gimni sa Kyobpa sona tena sonang do.
For example, Lord Jikten Sumgön himself had actually he first attained the realization of no more meditation, like no more practice. And then after that had
Just one moment while we try to reconnect with Ina.
Hello?
Hello.
Here we go again. My internet completely crashed. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So, to say this again, or what?
Jikten Sumgön de Gomila.
Say again.
Jikten Sumgön Vinaya.
I say again, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Jikten Sumgön is actually said to have attained the realization of no more practice before he then took full ordination and therefore practiced the higher training of disciplined conduct. So this realization of no more practice or non-meditation is the fourth stage of the 4 yogas of Mahamudra, and that stage itself is divided into 3 levels: the lower, the middling, and the higher level of non-meditation or no more practice. We're not sure which one he had attained here, but in any case, when he was still under Kyobpa, he was said to be an upasaka, a lay vow holder on the 10th bhumi.
Dan the druzi zo long karere do shubayina. Pakpa dupa les. Jimpa jimbung ngun rowa shirap des. Jimpa ngun rowa la shirap nyam sulimba. Tsutrum zupa zunru de yino son parsin trobo tamche gangda ganyan jang ting ngun shirap nyamling ngun rowa yore son teke trukwindo.
So then there's a quotation of a text that proves this point. It is the Sanchaya Gatha, and there it says, discriminative knowledge precedes the receiving of gifts, and similarly also disciplined conduct, patience, endeavors, and dhyana. In other words, wisdom of the 6 paramitas can precede any of the other paramitas.
Oh yeah, that you the dorjis on there. Lamram tamji tunje nyamni gu song. Nan da be karchen bore dang asola. Dan de song yu bakap so yang yin ga hek sun de lamram tamji lam tanje rembe yin de tambo je per na mata pata lo ngando lo gon ti ji ni de ni tamjer ni par ka wa lo ngando gom. De tab mato mataba gomba kaps tamjer ni pa ka gom malo ataba tanda do je ngun sing kyores tanda mari lamran thamji thunji nan nyamlen gogre sor.
Then we come to the next Vajra statement, 14. It says, one practices all stages of the path in a single session, which is in response to people's claim that one practices all stages of the teachings and the path in succession. So, for example, some say that first one contemplates impermanence, let's say for 5 years. And then after that, one contemplates the difficulty of finding a precious human body for 5 years. And they say that while you are contemplating impermanence, you're not supposed to contemplate the difficulty of obtaining a precious human body. They think that everything has to go in this this successive order, this succession. But so Jikten Sumgön is saying that this is not the case. All practices are practiced within a single session.
Oh yeah, dan de gas karchen bori la ya de ngaran zo joban ji din sum jing gom bu tmo ma yin bi yi gong cha ja jin bong a din yo ba Tanga din the Tunjin and Yamlin Nang to go yoris. That Tunjin and Nadin Yamslin do ben a tunde and Simo can sin tund or chat rock the Gubaina. Did Dinani, Tangadin the Yons Saman Dogo yoris, so I can Yamlin Kayinja. Did in the Tambo Nadin the Jamda Ninji, Tapola, son Patarduji, and Tayab Sinjin Tamji. Kowa Dongale Madrawa Dag Drogi Madrawa Tamji Dag Dragi Samyake Jambatan Taking the Gypsy Malarebe Nga Ninje Tingne Jizana Kamsum Corvus Simjinam Meop non to Tsubandra Sumadan Yinke 소속의 인공 루베데네 제 마긴 심지 란드로케네라 몽 동할 mendu장 동할 드럼 임박 데이터 심지인데다 닝리제 삼네 데네다 강그 콩네 루베데네 닝제 제고 요르스 데 잠나 닝제 고마르와 디오드 Dane ranlu lak japola sumba yindu ngadinand. Ngaranzu tamarke nzimba the dopar sibala dene tamarke pongbonda da tamje hlai goran yindu gongo yorwa. Denzu takbana wala jangne. Dere Tene Tiodo Ta Chaja Chimbo Simni Nangka Yangba La Sumba Yindu Tene Semji Bandene Maji Manga Branyi De Tabela Tane Tene Chaja Chimbo Gonguris Tene Tiodo Ta Gana Dara Nyami Nang Yalandada Tamje Jang 초니 미게당 미미 희그 초니 조퍼 서비스르드 초니 이긴지 노블라 송드 다 호악 제나 고요리 dane 추 의결래장 호아 조송 데이터가 어디 냠슬림 바테 튼제는 로토 고요레스
Lama namchu sumosi.
Tene
Lama namchu sumosi.
tojiche. Lama kubi ganre la song. Ta lama tene kuye ngo shugo longo trugo ngo ni go. De kuye dani jinre ta de kuye ge dani de 강저 답이지 델레 소소라 진압 토고나 되니 먹을 거냐마 혈네 되니 진압 토고자 되니 먹을 땡네 진 다 대접지 고요레스
So this verse in particular is very important to us, and so because that is really actually a very unique and very special intent of Lord Jikten Sumgön, and one of his very unique teachings is the fivefold path of Mahamudra, and it is said that this has to be practiced. The fivefold path is to be practiced within a single session. So, for instance, if one's someone's day is broken up into like 6 daily sessions, and within a single session, all of those stages of the path are completely practiced. So, in the context of the fivefold path of Mahamudra, so first, one in any single session, one cultivates love and compassion for, which is according to Jikten Sumgön like a good horse, like a good steed, and one cultivates love and compassion for limitless sentient beings who are not liberated yet from the suffering of samsara. And so here you first cultivate the intention, I'm going to liberate those who are not liberated, and I will release those not released. So we cultivate love. And Milarepa also said that when compassion arose deep within me, I saw the 6 realms of samsara, of sentient beings. I saw sentient beings kind of being stuck in the 6 realms of samsara, like being stuck in a fire pit. So sentient beings are ignorant as to what to do and what not to do. And so for these ignorant sentient beings, we must cultivate compassion, love and compassion from the depth of our heart. Even though they do not want to suffer, they create suffering. So that's compassion. And love and compassion should arise really from the depth of your bone marrow, from deep within. So that's how the session begins. And then you practice the second step in that session of the 5-fold path of Mahamudra, which is to visualize your body in the form of the deity, the king. And we visualize the deity in order to reverse ordinary grasping at our body. And for this sake, we visualize our body in the form of the deity. We are training in a pure perception. Then the third step is then, after you have done that, you practice the Guru Yoga, and it says, Sumgön says that the 4 kayas of the Guru are like a snow mountain. So the 4 kayas are the Dharma kaya, Sambhoga kaya, Nirmana kaya, and the Svabhavika kaya, which are like a snow mountain. And in order to receive blessings, the stream of blessings, the snow mountain must be melted with the sun of devotion. So we cultivate devotion to the Guru. And then the 4th step is we practice Mahamudra in that same session, where we look at the mind, which is vast, like space. It is unborn and unceasing. And then the 5th step is the completion, where we dedicate the 2 accumulations of merit. So there's the conceptual accumulation of merit and the non-conceptual accumulation of wisdom. And the dedication is said to be like a wish-fulfilling jewel. And also it is said that the proper dedication is even more important than the main part of the practice.
Jibzim Malarebe Sumba Yindo Tsindi Lama Tamba Des Mumba Server Dumeyin Sumba Yindo Tenu Soso Ke Semdang Lamani the Kanda Lama Tam Mandarwa Soso Semdang Lama Tam Madarwa They are Mugu Dong Dongeba Ngangni Tenil Sosu Semda Lamani Drami the Gom. Tenil Sosu Lama Sosu Semda Lamani Drami the Gom Neti Gomba de Ngang Jong Sosu Semda Lamani Irmi the Do. Ta Sosu Semda Lamani Irmi the Do Teni Dara Je Gozangpa Chimbu Gomi Ngangla Yingmi Nzu Sumba Yindo Teni number Matoba Ngangla. Teni netoba go yuris ta number matoba te tabatola nendo du teni tin number matoba tele ya dang yondu ta sem de solo la ban cho yong go yore sem de solo la ban cho yong wa da nyam de 소수 히랍 되게 샘데 솔로런 초티바 하고버 제데 다 잠다 닌지 따포라 송바인데 다 잠바다 닌지 젠다 고요르 시마난 카다냐 심진 탐제 그치다 다 드라지네 제탑 차드 데니다 데니 짐바데게 다라데 진시 마예모 고네 남도 타마르게 남도 라소바 지용나 람상 다분 나와라 야줄 예담라 세나 예담라 ngola khathok jarmata beyna sosoga lamage kwe ngola yajur songo ngola yajur thokju ngola yajurne te jorje te dozi tan tike na tunsam te ma yoninga tela teni ngoa ka jende ta tendaji yana keji jing na Java zub kejing ma lain batana, tendra ke kejing jing na chaja jimunga di nyamsulin tofudo tobia yobaji cha ka yobayin san den aran sor di dangma de yo bare den za langren tamji tunjing nyamne gu song tendra is
Venerable also said that the authentic guru is like a lamp that clears away the darkness of ignorance and so on of the disciple. And so when you cultivate devotion from deep within, then you meditate within a state where you never separate your mind from the guru's mind. And then as you sustain this state, you realize that your own mind and the guru's mind are indivisible. The Master Gotsampa had said that when you meditate, when you sustain a state of meditation, you are sustaining a state of non-distraction. So you are remaining within a non-conceptual state during practice. And then you rise from that state. And when you rise from that state, discriminative wisdom, or this knowledge, knows, it recognizes if again thoughts arise in the mind, when the mind again is distracted outside. And so at that time, it is said that one should again cultivate love and compassion, this excellent steed of love and compassion, and seal one's practice with that. And so again, bring to mind all mother sentient beings, limitless as space, and then sustain mindfulness that is without distraction. And then again, if ordinary thoughts arise, immediately transform them into a pure perception. And even if you're not like transforming them into the shape and color of the Yidam deity, they are transformed into the essence of the Guru's body, speech, and mind. So before, in any case, before you end the session, you seal it with dedication. And so in this way, as you mentioned before, in a single instant, the teachings are practiced. In a single instant, in a single session, the fivefold path of Mahamudra is practiced. So therefore it says one practices all stages of the path in a single session.
lama gom du mugu tong e wangani lama gom tamna semte lu hike waran yige chano go yoris ta de ta wangani teni ta chaja chimbol nare gare nyamni nawa ina yang teni ta gomba chodu juba chagaris gomban chodu juba chaba ina tokban chodu juba jegaris Then Gomban Dang, some Jichana, Topan Dang, some Jigri. Then Gomba Tama Walana, Topa Tama, some Jigrua, Ko Junde in the Jokang Sabal and Dev tell to Baji Yonko Yorba. They in the Tang around Supena, Joban Jikten Sungu, Gombo Pamotra in Jila, Chindu, Lankane, Simo Nanka Dawan Jardu, O Tondi O, the Dawan the Gare, Dawan the Gingak Lama Pamotra, Tara Shanji the Yoris. Nga Joala, Taronga Shanji Tamason, some Teta Doa Konabala. Lama the Lombake, Chin Derwa Chitan Road. Tam Malare Baina, Ngake Ngala Saya Mado Yomare, Ngala Kuya Mado sing Yomare, Ngala Trobo Mado sing Yomare. Malare Bakareching Hoyore, Ngan Sindi Lama Tamba de Tata Yona Gawala, Tata Yona Chibala, son the name Muguton, Tongewangani, Teni Kom Yomayoroa. Data will go for your race, Mazota.
So when we practice the guru, if you're able to really meditate on that with practice that with deep devotion, the mind becomes relaxed, at ease. And then from within that state, if you practice Mahamudra or whatever else you practice, it becomes supreme, a supreme meditation. And if meditation is supreme, then realization is supreme. Meditation, one's practice is mediocre, then one's realization will be mediocre. And if one's practice is ordinary, one's realization will be ordinary. So that's cause and effect. Whatever cause one creates leads to a certain result. And for example, Jikten Sumgön, when he first set out to meet Mahamudra, his guru, on the way at night he was looking at the moon, and he thought to himself, "Oh, the moon is so lucky. The moon can already see my guru, Mahamudra, but I'm so sad because I still cannot see him." So this is how master and disciple connect. Or Milarepa, he didn't cry because he didn't have food. He didn't cry because he didn't have clothing, and he didn't cry because he didn't have friends. He cried when he thought about, yearned for his guru, thinking that, oh, how good it would be if the guru would be here right now. So this is how he cultivated really deep devotion. And so this is the kind of devotion that we have to cultivate.
Oh, yeah, that Lord Jison Jonga Bade. The Hinjig Laya Sanje Changmin Jung, so Hinkan Jiglaya, Hinkan Sinapena, Durzanda Hinkam, Tarangaran Soina, Talon Zambeling said Dajagatumba, Drigung Chadioren. Then Della Yink Suna, Hinkan Teta Jigla Sanji Jigma, the Pugumari Sungoyoris. In an Jikten Sungonke Yibala Changmi, but Pugoyori Sonre.
Then we come to Vajra statement 15. It says, many Buddhas appear continuously in a single Buddha field. And Buddha field here of a literally pure field actually refers to a field wherein sentient beings are tamed by a Buddha. So our field, our pure field, is the southern continent, Jambudvipa, which is the field in which the Buddha Shakyamuni tames sentient beings. And so that is in response to people's claim who say that no more than one single Buddha appears in a single Buddha field and is in a single field. But Jikten Sumgön says that, in fact, countless, limitless Buddhas appear in a single field.
The Dubzi, the Jambangumbo Ju Lama Nand Gangshir Druza Dagba Yeso Druza Lot Nawa Dagba Yina that the Beijing of the Chuyen Nune Tamjela Berna Simro Chuk Nu Tamjela then the Hing Nim Zunines Chut Zamayuna Dinana Chunu Zamanan to the Nimak Zuni Tsahagrawa. De Yindo Naranzog Senla Deba Danang and number Taduna. Then bad me by Jik Challengers, Sanji Mambo Charjogger, Sanji Jigjan Segmarison, Sanji Tangmeba. Then I am Dike Hinkam Dalayang, Sanji Tangme Banjungo Yores only.
To establish this, it says, Maitreya said in the Uttara Tantra, and therefore, in all the water receptacles, which are the minds of the pure trainees, immeasurable reflections of the sun, that is the Sugata, appear at once. So if you have a vessel of water that is completely pure, then in all those vessels of pure water, a reflection of the Sugata appears. So many reflections appear at once. So if our mind is pure, we have a pure perception and faith, then inconceivable Buddhas can appear, not just one. So also in this field, in our world, limitless Buddhas appear.
Ta sanje ken zepa tong te tana namba mayin ba tanda ke chulo yin ke ngangsor ke teni tasola jamba da nin chi tanda thoni teni durzana lan ku ko yore songre dena yinza ta manda wa de che kare risna zepa chuni ke chortung ne teni jaga dorji de ngombar sangje be chortung kinte ta henje la teni sanje je zamjung go yore ma do chirtang sanje ken ta henje lo mambos jungri songdo.
So the way the Buddha manifests enlightened activities is actually not necessarily always as a Buddhist. Even he may appear in other religions, someone with great love and compassion to tame beings there. So the difference is that what we are saying when we say that there's only one Buddha in one field is that there's one Buddha who performs the 12 enlightened deeds and attains enlightenment in the Vajra seed of Bodh Gaya. So there's only one Buddha in one world that does that. But aside from that, in general, in any world, countless Buddhas appear.
Oh, yeah, that dig and chula tini kunla pimpa timder kutsomde husimbaris. Da som sumba de drwa sosor tamp som denche bagaris.
So now this completes the second section, which is the vital points of dependent originations that benefits all. And we come now to the third section, which is the section on the Vinaya Pratimoksha.
Then the Dorjis Garex thing is not Tamchin Durva, Tikpa, Tumong de son take thing. The song goya de Yang Ying Gumba de la Garegon Resina Durva Sosor Tapa Shibanda Tikpa Mimba, Tikpa Oma Gel Nyamslin Zachiri Mato. Tikpa Goma Tamjik Nyamselinza Mari Gong the Yorwa. Tan Jikten Sunguk de Marin the Tumong Nyamselinza Rison.
And the first Vajra statement here is that the Vinaya is common to all vehicles, which is in response to those who claim that the Vinaya is a practice that belongs to the Hinayana only, and it does not belong to the higher vehicles. But Jikten Sumgön says that this is not the case. The Vinaya is practiced in all the vehicles.
Then the so karere ke droko yorisina drwa shibate ke sosor tapate zo sosor tape nyamni zo song yong ran do kaps. Then the sosor tapande kantar tikpa ko chame nyamsul lingo ji ri song jitin songok. So thin drogore.
So the main point being made here is that so in general the Vinaya teachings mainly speak about the practices that belong to the Pratimoksha, but Jikten Sumgön says that still it is to be practiced also by the higher vehicles.
Ta tikchin ke yong tikpa chimbo ke yong ga hela ndrwa sin nyumong pe nimbo pa nimbo la main ndrwa sta ya ti jumsin ke tene Jikten Sumgön ke ndrwa ante tikpa ko chama tumong kri da song riwe sina te maris ndrwa sosor taba juza chinkin ndlong de ye zona yor ndlong de ye di ye bonde teni tikpa tsama ke nyamsulin zari song ke yor songzan de tumo ma yinpa cha song aris da yitsernde.
So scriptures will say that the Vinaya, what is called Vinaya, because literally Vinaya is that which tames. That's the term for Vinaya. And so that's why they say that the Vinaya is called that because it is an antidote to the afflictive emotions. It tames the afflictive emotions. And so therefore, then is that why Jikten Sumgön says the Vinaya is practiced by all the vehicles, because it tames the afflictive emotions. So that's not just why, actually. So the Vinaya teachings of individual liberation consists of four major scriptures. There are four major divisions of Vinaya scriptures, and they are all to be practiced commonly by all vehicles.
Ta de yin zan teni de long de ndwa long de yin ang long nam ji tinana ta sangje dang ta dra jomba dang namji teni chanchup gangni tuklo nam da pas simji drachum yongti demba nam ti yang yun ndwa yin bar songs Jikten drofnwa.
And so in the Vinaya Vibhanga, it says all awakening that Buddhas and Pratyeka Buddhas achieve of any arhat qualities possessed by those beings who are disciples of the Buddha, the cause is thought to be the Vinaya.
Oh yeah. Ta del teni oh yeah. Ta ni pa te dorji song ti o ni karasun lakpar tikpa chel sar yok tikpa chimpur sar yok ba so de ta oh da de te song de ta drop yung ko ta gang la he song de ya de tikpa chung ba hi mari sin mai ba te tikpa chimbo go yong na na the long day gela so ba kan re he server tin dos te sung jere la par tikpa chimbo sar yolas
So Then we come to the next Vajra statement, the second one. It is obvious that the Vinaya is even more present within the Mahayana. So we have just actually established that before. So it's not just practiced in the lower vehicle, but the four classes of Vinaya scriptures are even more present or elucidated in the Mahayana teachings.
대안은 이건 돌롱 대 이해 나온다나 되니 특바 친구 장초섬 장초섬바 탐지 그 파르드 심바 냠스 링당도 서포트는 송요 바 인장 된데 특바 친구가 용어 차도 요리스
And so within these four classes of the Vinaya scriptures, it's also explained very clearly that the bodhisattvas of the Mahayana, of the greater vehicle, how they are to practice the paramitas. So this shows that those teachings are Mahayana teachings as well.
Alright, not this so long understand right now. Then it can toast na. Oh yeah. That's somebody, don't you somebody la. Strum la by. Strum la by hirap. That's what. Oh yeah. 탐진 진비 힘드니 인스. 다슨 바들 탐지 진비 힘드니 인스. 단다 가르스나 디갑스 추첨 름보체데 탐진 진비 시코네 주여 차다 요레송르다. 근데 송요 짐신 가르스는 드르버갑스 제반제 야바 가반제 야바 나완제 야바 젤렌로 드소 참아데 탐진 진비 시코나 그 주여리 마도케 장초 선바 사주발네 바게야 드수 차라 하장 협신 협바된 친구 요 말이스 된다 인상 난 탐진 진비 시대 송거야 데레스.
And then the next Vajra statement, number 3, all of the precious disciplined conduct is the gnosis, the wisdom of omniscience. And so the disciplined conduct is the scope of omniscient wisdom. And so therefore in the Vinaya, the various prohibitions and permissions and so forth all actually are the scope of omniscient wisdom. And so even a bodhisattva on the 10th bhumi has actually not reached omniscient wisdom. But the Vinaya is, or the disciplined conduct is the scope of omniscient wisdom.
Teni that droa ke darade jirsa jingola ta jirsa je tamjin chimbala chanchalo song ya jumsin ya teri song lo zawa tamje ke dara jirsa de la tamjin droa de la tamjin chimbala chanchalo song do wandeang dan droa yetcham ke ju de teni tamjin chimba nya ji ke ju yor yin zang de yu tamjin chimbala chanchalo song baris.
So this is also established by the fact that whenever a Vinaya scripture has been translated, translators would precede the work with an homage to the Omniscient One, a prostrate to the Omniscient One. So all Vinaya texts begin with that. And that also therefore shows that the Vinaya of disciplined conduct is the scope of the Omniscient One. And that is why one first pays homage to the Omniscient One.
Then the Taronta Sutram Shibande, Yetran Ambarda Bande, Da Tiba Tamjik, Lamji Tingitawe, Chad Yuris, on Tenda Inza, Kandason Yersina, Sutram Lane, Nenas, Tinginzina, Topson, Sutram Yanta Barnena, Teni Tinginzin, Lekbar Toguris, the Tinginzin, Lekbar Nenas. Teni hirap hindo goms, ta hirap nyamni yongo yoris. Te hirap jine ta yishin puson so ba toguris, yishin puson so ba top. Teni yishin number ta na, teni yishin number ta du, teni yang tsutram number ta ba cha yongo yoris on. Text on da.
And so pure, completely pure, disciplined conduct is the foundation of all the paths, of all the vehicles. And it is said that if you abide in disciplined conduct, the samadhis are obtained from that. And if you abide in samadhi, discriminative knowledge is effectively practiced. And through discriminative knowledge, perfect gnosis or perfect wisdom, primordial wisdom is obtained. And if that wisdom is pure, again, the disciplined conduct is perfect.
Teni tomba nyangi le mande ngonde kunga wola. Teni kong nyangi le de tsadu, teni ndorwa sosor tapande churang tomba jigolari song. Tanda song le pata teni ndorwa sosor tambe ndo nana. Ngane nyangin dewo den chuji timba hi tumba hi rabzong ni ji guje par nin tin gendun cho ngun tu ji la so ba song yo re so.
And then so at the time when the Buddha Shakyamuni passed into nirvana, he said to Ananda, after I have passed away, you put your trust in the Pratimoksha, which is the teacher. And so in the Pratimoksha, or Individual Liberation Sutra, therefore it says, saying, after my passing into nirvana, this will be your teacher. The self-arisen one has openly praised Pratimoksha with great respect in the presence of the assembled assiduous monks.
Oh yeah, then the other Dorji song de ke kare song do hina parche din lang domba ji ngi de song. Then the kazuta domba la ji parche ye yoris domba ta ji wala ji tang yon na do de song res da de sko at la sa. Parti vichu de mana domba ji war mana. Ta domba ji parche da dimba tamjela ta domba ji ga mare song rite. Tene ta Jikten sunggung ge techo la yang ta domba ji ge yori song na te song ge yori. Ta de kare sena domba ji vichirtang parche na ye. Domba ji parche je ya. Domba ji ne be parche je ya. Tene chepar den rob parches ta Nepal la soba. Tene chepar den rob parches. Tene zipe parches, tena parche ye yo yorite. Ta parche ye de chetang chuju yin tamje ke ta domba jebe parche mari sung ko yoris. Domba jebe parche mari sung ko yorina. Jebe parche sibande da domba jebe parche une ri sung yore sina yandan de Jikten sunggung ke domba jebe parche mari sung. Domba jege ri sung.
And then we come to the next Vajra statement, number 4. All the impediments to the arising are impediments to obtaining the fruit. So here we're talking about the arising of a vow. There's 4 obstacles or impediments to obtaining a vow, 2 vows. And so others say that the vows do not arise for those who possess impeding qualities, so obstructing qualities. And Jikten says that this is not the case. The vow still arises. So in general, it is said that there are 4 impediments to a vow. And the first one is the impediment to the arising of the vow. Then there's the impediment to the abiding, the remaining of an already arisen vow. And then third, there's the impediment to obtaining the particular qualities of the vows. And fourth, for example, there's like illness and so on. And fourth is the impediment to the beautification of the vow. And so in other traditions, it is said that in general, there are no impediments for vows to arise, except for the impediment to the arising of the vow. That could be a real impediment, first one. But Jikten says that all the impediments to the arising of the vow are impediments to obtaining the fruit.
Ta jewe parche shibande domba jewe parche sin donan tini song yo mari song ren jitin sungu sungde. Ona jewe parche song yorwe sin song yorwe sin de nrewe jewe parche la gong re song. Nrewe ye ta hi dachom teni chermong junyuk nrewe wula. Tanda ken nrewe jewa la gong re mato domba jewa parche tini rogo yo mari song.
So what is he saying in terms of being an impediment to the arising of the vow? So all the impediments to the arising of the vow are impediments to obtaining the fruit. What he means with that is Jikten Sumgön, and that's something that's not actually said in the sutras. But so he says that there's no impediment to the arising of the vow, but there could be an impediment to obtaining the result of a vow. So we mentioned before that the results either is to attain arhatship or a non-returner or a returner or a stream enterer. So there could be an impediment to obtaining these states of result, but still there is no impediment to the vow itself.
Dandela domba jewe parche ris ne sungkin tang domba jewe parche maris sungkin ni chongson ta ten dundel dribzi te ta ngaran sul ni zena ti dong logic che kan ma du khu yore de logic te kare resena huma da ni tarang ar zo ni yo ni yu la teni pochi ta amaji nyam de yores te pote teni pumi yimba ji nyamdo ko pumi yimba ji le yu cha ne te ko te nyamdo ro go la te vidu teni ama te ken ro mo go la res te pumi te nyamdo ama ka mentu ma je pa res teni ko ke chou ja ko yin ji mi jin ro gi yin la du ta ama ke churan tang mi nga se mo se suna ya churan tang mi la du teni ko ama la control sane te ama se yabaris te ko mi yin de nyam don ros baris
And so there's those 2 opinions as to, and one is saying that there can be an impediment to the arising of the vow, and the other one is saying that there cannot be an impediment of the vow. And so to prove the latter, this one is actually established through a story. So in the past, in Vaishali, there was a mother and her child, her son. And the son was extremely attached to a girl. But the mother did not approve of that, and she didn't want to let him go. And he insisted, he really wanted to go with that girl. And the mother still insisted, I'm not going to let you go. Even you will have to kill me for me to let you go. So then the son was so angry with his mother that he killed his mother and he took off with the girl.
Teni ko ke ama te se teni ko pemi yin de nyan ro du teni palam jin de ko pe juba ji re ta juba ji ko ama se yara tan sami ke le se yara wa teni ko juba hyu ji ten ra je de teni ko nangba mai be chulo ten ra mambo cha lan ro ta ko dik ba chap chin sa song ta kanda ji hya go re je lab du ngen ga he ke chorang rami ji go re se ga he ga ta chorang Dog Tong Yos Dog, Kahega Man Talent Chong got a simmerao. And Gahega Chonana Man Zuna Tini, True Divine Tini, Debata, Nogar Simmerao, Mambo J Lab. Then the Nakang Lab Jako Sida Yi Matsem, that didn't do Panda marking Lord of Maba. Then I went Tinico, that's her the Jersey Charsi, Jimmy Charsi, your Tatanatsar, young Tana. Gardin Dumraji, or Tarate, new. Tene Kotana, so yondu. Tene Magin Sanje and Don. Don the Tene ko Don to Sate, Cook am choaching Nura. Te Cote Lo, the now and out in Rodako. Te Magin and Ramla song Konikita here, Tanachedoa, Tambotes and General.
So then he killed his mother and he left with the girl. And at some point he developed regret, and because he had really done something like one of those deeds with immediate retribution. And so then first he went to different non-Buddhist religions, and he asked what he could do to confess, to lay aside this very evil deed. And people would tell him different things. Some would say, you should commit suicide. And some said, you should drink poison, or you should jump on a cliff, or you should go wash yourself in the river, which will purify your negativities. But none of these answers were satisfying to him. So he kept walking and he came to a garden, like a little park garden, and there he saw an old lady reciting a sutra of the Buddha. So he listened, and that really agreed with his mind, and so he approached that old lady and they started talking.
Lam la Hyona, Tin de was a Haju Yore, set and Raven the He Jadu Tinicotella, now Tene. Tinico Rabdachonri, Rabdachon, Gelong Domba Hugh. Then Domba Hugh, the Tinico Chu da Capti Niru Chimbogen, Cock Chu drop there. Chu drop the Tene Gelong Robajeke, Chu Gelong Yin the Madawa. The captain here huge in the huge driven garage in la Tridoacola. Did the Tenko Gatako, Dibachimbosa, Yamajin, Koamase, Yabain, Zetanavedoa. David, the Tini Koran Taragelon de Junia, Sanjel Hudo, Dakok, Tanachi, those Amase, Yajamaria, Labdu. Then Sanjega, oh, then David Togumari is on it. Ta yinda ke gong de tera domba che mari si te telender sumare Jikten sungong ke gong de denita dreve che to mari si tenda song te sung de ko ta o nga kare chi go na ta domba ma tang yanja mal trawa lo yu go le na kare go na tin de tin sam no ni pa je tan ta trapa lo na chom dos Tanga Sachapa Sataran Sachilon Roy Godo, the Deco Sataran Bojel Pachin Swaris. Pachin Sun the Deco Sataran Bojin, the young cock, Sanjik Chute, so cola Malahi, the cola Loma Mambunda. Tin Loman on the Dutch of Mamutaba, the Nachuaris.
So then he was talking to this old lady, and then he told her about the evil thing he has done, that he had killed his own mother. And then the old lady told him, if you enter the path of the Buddha, you can lay aside, confess all negativities. So this is something that agreed with his mind. So he ordained as a Gelonga fully ordained monk, and he was very disciplined in his practice. He practiced enduring great hardships with determination. And another monk, one of his fellow monks, said to him, "You're quite different. You are practicing with such determination, enduring all these hardships. Why?" And so then he told that monk, "It's because I'm very sinful. I've murdered my own mother." So then that other monk went to the Buddha and told the Buddha, this monk had killed his own mother. So then the Buddha said, therefore, he will not obtain the result. So this is in response to now those who say that the vow cannot arise. And Jikten Sumgön saying the vow can arise, but it will be difficult to obtain a result. So anyways, and then that monk who killed his mother then thought, what shall I do? He was even considering giving up his vows, but then he thought, at a second thought, he thought, that also won't help. So he did not give up his vows, but he felt that he has to go somewhere far away. So he left to somewhere far away, and at a distant place, he met with other people, and he shared the Buddha Dharma with them, and he actually gathered a large assembly of disciples, many of which attained arhatship.
Tene ko katanawe chupel chut nang tanawe de tene dedanyam de la ta korang ke ger kan rosong da tang ne de sokang la re ta gendu ba de so chi ngar so sa na wo chi kham ga chi tana ji zu de korang tana de tana che do de che tene ko nyama che la tene chen phu ne ko hya song ar tene hya song de tene ko lam sang ma nya wa la ji song Konyawar che goya ko amase yarwa chida. Konyawala chere de koranke nawala konyawa chesa de chamnya la jido de yin ya ko nawala che nyawa na yuba nawa ma hya ta hi gendum ba tamje ngar so sa sokang yo tin na de yal nawa da wo che hyar. Ina o ndal nga so teren di so khang dal tanda chawa hyu jing do san pe chawa hyu na wo chona de ko khan de lam ne ra kan de la de ni leng khin je ge de ni de na nya wa yin no se ne ngola thoa ji hyu res thoa ko ngola thoa ji hyu ba da nyam de ko lam sang nya wa ne che phu ne de ni ko ja chin ri ge ga la yo la ji swa res ja chin ri ge ga la yo la ji inde Teni ko ta la tamje lu ngi yo ba teni ngi ge ta andu ta ko jachin ri ge la yo la je go ate ta sanje ge chu ge ga den ri ya ko ama se cha du ta kap je ni ru ma bo ji chu drap de kya ge drap de pan sa hyu che ge ti ka den ri ya san ko ge ta ha ko re ha ko du teni ta sa sanje la ti ka den sab go teni ko sa yajar sanjin du la yong reis
So he was giving Dharma teachings, and then he spent his own wealth to create this place, which is like a resting house, like a house where the Sangha could rest. and he also stayed there. And so then one day he died and immediately was born in hell because he had killed his mother before. And so the way he perceived hell was, it was hot, but he had the perception of being in this resting house that he built. And he just felt that, oh, today it's really hot in that house. And he said that out loud. And then the henchmen of hell came and said, this is hell. And they hit him over the head with a hammer. And immediately he died and he passed away from hell. And he was born in Indra's god realm. And the gods all have clairvoyant powers. So he was born as a god in his god realm, and he knew the kindness of the Buddha Dharma, and that he had killed his mother. And then after that, he had practiced the Dharma with great determination, practicing virtue and giving up non-virtue. So all of that he knew at that time. And he felt so much gratitude for the Buddha that he felt that he must repay the Buddha's kindness. And so again, he went into the presence of the Buddha.
Tene ko ke sanjelan chupa je tanda je tene dewe de tene sanje ke da kola chusong dewe tene ko drajo bukomba taris ta drajo bukomba ngabe taris tene gelong domba nguman tapsaris o da dere tek droko yoris tara.
So he went to the Buddha and he made offerings, and the Buddha then again taught him the Dharma, and then he attained arhatship finally. So even though already in a previous life he had become a monk, a fully ordained monk, only now at that time he became an arhat. So this also proves that point here.
Oh yeah, da dorji songa pate. Dombrizi de dombongo de nambarizi mayen buzo yins. And zawa ngo nambarizi tandere ta domba sejo de kareri se kashege de zogri se kashege zogdang hibadang deni kayang mayen ngobo jiksom du ko yorwata tisom nangdini ngashege zogri ngashege dimin de ziris ngashege hibare se dandu ke mambo yorite da deni nambarizi mayen bu zogri se dombongo jiktin sungongke ta nambarizi mayen bu zog hibade tarto no se hibala donro sarinda den dal da tunda tanji gi yichorde se manda yorite ngachota deni te zamen ne sara odela nambarizi mayen bu zo imba hakona.
And then Vajra statement 5 is talking about what a vow actually is in essence. And so Jikten Sumgön says the essence of vows is imperceptible form. And there's others who claim the opinion that the essence of the vows is the mind of abandonment together with its seed and so forth is correct. So there's basically 3 different ways in which vows are seen. It is seen as actual form, or it is seen as like it's called a non-associated composite phenomena, or it is mind awareness. And so Jikten Sumgön is saying that the essence of the vows is imperceptible form, and that probably also is included within it being mind.
Oh yeah, that tukpate tongwang tadalanen dushisos da jirdang ying yibala de dorji song de tongwang tadalanen dushizo yin song da Jikten Sumgön ying da ngubo zoa keling yore de dan durwa nanjile yore de ngubo zoa si de dan dushizo yin song da gandar pamba da lama dang tongwa la so ba gang da gang yin jang zo chikyu de da gandar pena gelong in dundr the term nijang ngapju ngaksom zaksom yorwa and the tamje da pena chi niba nda wongne de jongo yuna ye som jorwa tartok sida ye som jorwa tartok te chango yoreda ye sam ye tambo samba teni jorwa teni tartok te som machangna te som kanong machangna lamsang che domba nyamsong sene taju ya jono mare ngachun duso kola de samza ha go go ro ji chaga yor samza sene da ji dan jiktin ma ja pom yin na ya mo ke kare cha ke domba ke che gi dan de so chaju mi bala teni ngacho ke je mal gong che ja ga yor wa de yin za
La kare
ngacho mal chu ba wi ne ko jik jik ri ming mi ri se ya ji yor wa da de so ko ngarang su ti nenga ha go go je ka chim bori no wa pen na kuma je ge jala je ko wa yin na jala ko wa de la ye samba jorwa tarto te chango yore ye pen si je go go na ye si yimba de go yore sen yin ka dang bo zo zo de de da ye si yimba je go yore se samba teni nga ka si de go sam no de go ro nga te go yin sen sama jorwa de ngus da la lin ji go yong go ro tarto de la da nga top song sa nga yin sa ya gen zimba de hyong de da ko tax de ne domba de dong song ba den de da ji ji dang chang go yo res dong ta da la ne ngu bo zo ge ye yan de dan de ne de hi zo re song ba
Then the next Vajra statement 6 is saying, in all transgressions, the intention is the principal point. And so there's a difference between the intention and the entity. So some people claim that both a perception or the intention and the entity are the principal points in all transgressions. It is according to the Vinaya codes of disciplined conduct. For example, when one fully ordains as a monk, there are 253 codes of discipline or vows. And now what constitutes the transgression of a vow, of the breaking of a vow? There are certain components that need to be complete for the vow to be actually broken. So basically there is 3 parts that need to be complete. It is the foundation, it is the act, and the completion. The foundation would be the intention, and then there's the act, and then there's the completion. So unless those 3 are complete, one cannot with certainty say that a vow has been transgressed. And so that's something for us to understand as lay people too, and because we often argue about he's doing this and he's doing that and so on. So here it's important to understand the crucial point. So there's an example here about someone who is stealing gold. So if someone wants to steal gold, the basis of that, so in brief, is the intention. So first of all, you will want to steal the gold, and then you have to actually do it, and then you have obtained it. So to break it down, so first you want to own the gold. You want to steal the gold. You're planning to steal the gold. So there's the intention, and so then you take it, and so you actually act out on it, and you steal the gold. You take the gold, and then in the end you receive the gold, and there's this perception of it being mine. Now I have it. And this is the point then when those 3 are completed, one has transgressed or lost one's vow. And in general, This is how it is stated. This is the general statement where one holds the entity as the principal point of transgression. So when those three are complete. But here, the point is being made that in all transgressions, it is the intention that is the principal point.
Tamchin Dora Hyun, the Lingy Mambo, your Lingy Janjang, Kamajin, Sonko Yore, Tatin, Degla, Duzito, Lingy Zeta, Drong, the Vajra, Drong, Jacket, Sonko Yore, and the Carre Sina Geloma, Sercha Zamo, Sichi Yore, Sanje Kuduriza, Sanje Yod the Backups. Geloma, Sercha Zamo in the
Mean Carre? Sercha
Zamo, Damo. Geloma re, the other yig Drachoma re, Drachoma. That Drachoma zena, Drachoma zogosarwa. The not top de data which. Then the more the Geloma, the Nab yo de do. Did you more Drachoma top tsareda? Then Japo Machi Drake, coke passe yara Machi Drake. Ko passe tsardutini yang jin juba no de ji dan juba de dukja no ko che sem ma ji ba hyu ji cha ji zon de zo me jong do ji cha de ba kap so de ne ndi korang lombo de so ke geloma serja zamo si ba de zong ne ti yong wa de ti de ne ma ji da la te ya ba re the Machi Dasti, the Moped, the Tickups, Japan, or Rido Halamasona. Taco Passi Salikala, Geloma de Sejazamo de Yama Dula de la Loyam Jebaris, Masama Jebaris. That de la Yama Dula Masama Jetadu, Yanko Chertang Yomari. Chertang du, then Sejazamo Sayone, Tambotes and Lamna.
So in general, in the Vinaya scriptures, some points are established by telling a related story about it. And so there is this story about Gelongma, a female, a bhikshuni, called Segya Sangmo, and she was a contemporary of the Buddha when the Buddha was alive. She was a bhikshuni and also an arhat. And so that was the time when the king Ajatashatru was ruling. And Ajatashatru, he was very sinful. He had killed his own father. And so at some point he developed great remorse and was very depressed and very unhappy. And so therefore one time his ministers, they caught Gelongma Segya Sangmo, his bhikshuni, and brought her to the king, gave her to the king. And at that time, the king was still sort of like a criminal almost, and since he killed his father. So he received this nun, the Gelongma, and for 7 days, he caused her to commit sexual misconduct. And then after that, after those 7 days, he sent her away.
This Mok Sanje la Hu, this Sanje, the Machida Churana, Matsamba Juba Kapso, Churana Deva Jones, Trion Deva Jones, Tridu. The name Sejazamug, oh, Deva the Taches, Deva Zawan in Mazomba Matse, the name more better Kora Tsoa Dunga Jones. Then the Damon du Higtone Della Chisogolo, Chap Deva Din Mazomba in Sonza, then Sanje get Juran Domba Hoyo Marie Sonra. Then Deg Dugur.
So then, after having sent her away, she went to see the Buddha, and she told the Buddha what happened. And then the Buddha asked her, so when Ajatashatru engaged in this sexual misconduct with you, did you experience pleasure? And she responded, not only did I not experience any pleasure, I actually experienced this as great suffering. So in her perception, there was no pleasure there at all. And therefore the Buddha said, this is why you have not lost your vow. But this story proves that point.
Jikten serja zamo de tanda ke pumi ke lutin la chakpa tanda mipo ke lutin pe ngonsa chimbo ji rindo morang ke choga de nintu usong chimbo ri teni korang ni nyam de na lo mangbo la korang ni ke pinchun tamja ya na ngarang ni machang ma ju si korang ni ka mentun jong ne nyam de ba ji la machang wa de so chuni ma ji ne lo mangbo nyam de yo teni siso teni koronika ta sanjela rabdu song teni koronika de gilong ma cha song rewa te zama se ni ka dajong ma cha song rewa nere.
So this bhikshuni Sekyasamo was a female, and it was quite even though she was put into this position, it was quite incredible that she did not experience any physical desire at all. And actually, before she even became a nun, she had a husband who was the Shravaka Kashyapa, and they lived together for many years, even before they ordained, and they took a vow to each other not to engage in sexual intercourse, and they both agreed to that. So in this way, they stayed together for many years, never engaging in any sexual contact. And then later, she took the fully ordained vow in the presence of the Buddha. So she became a bhikshuni and also an arhat.
That dumbate, Yijin Dorjison dumbate, Yijin Namsum Zor Puang Yuson. Then they got the Dong the Sosorta Domba de la Pungdun Korta Jeba Son Jitangate Dana Yiki. Pungdun Punga dun the Lunga, Lug Yatang, Lug Somdanga Yewa, to so Zo in the Tenipango use on the Yik Pong Jote take Harzong the Raven Hejano Yuriten Jikten Sumgön son the Santa Yik the Zo in the Pama Younger Yoreso.
And then we come to Vajra statement 7, which says that we teach that chiefly the 3 non-virtue states of the mind must be abandoned. And so in general, in the Patimoksha, people claim that the vows of Patimoksha are the 7 non-virtuous actions of body and speech, which are given up together with their limbs. So those 7 non-virtuous actions, the 3 of the body and the 4 of the speech, are abandoned. So then the mind is treated secondary here. But Jikten Sumgön says that it is actually the mind, non-virtues of the mind, that chiefly have to be abandoned.
Tanda Druzi no long Tony Dara Dora Sosor Tamban Donana Semta Kalin Kawala son, that same the Tan Nangina, the Ka Ma Juala Kale Kapu Yudu, then in Tumba Zernu Jabai, then Tumba Zernu test the Karerisina, some the Sosor Tabain, then Sosor Tabanda, that same the Alma Jujeke, some Nangiri on the then the same the George the Tini Jake, so when the Tini de Shanti Deva Junjona. Samsung Drigung Mato Bas, Drigung Mang Puchixas, a dead Nick Dufendoa.
Then the scriptural quote that establishes this point comes from the Pratimoksha Sutra, where it says, the bridle that keeps a tight rein on the mind, which is like a horse that is difficult to steer, is the Pratimoksha. So the mind is like a horse that is difficult to steer, and the rein, like the bridle is the pratimoksha, the individual liberation. So it shows that the mind is principled. And then also Shantideva said in the Bodhicharyavatara, apart from the special observance of guarding the mind, why train in many other special observances?
Then in that the Somutwala Pimpundo, Dinana Yang Sanje ke Sone, Rank Semni Yong Sundar, and then Sanje Timbayin Sonjude. Dinana Song, Deni take up Soyata, Sem the Zo Jimba. Yijinam some Zo Poma, the Imba the Socket driven.
Also in the Angulimala Sutra, it says, tame your precious mind completely. This is the teaching of the Buddha. And so here also it is clear that the mind is the principle, that the three non-virtues of the mind mainly need to be abandoned.
Da Dorjison Jeba de Da Dorjison Jeba de Dong Jia Matong Wayan Yu Song. Da Jetang Domba de la Dong Jia Yen Rao Jik Zi Yuri. Dong Jia Yen Rao de Gang the Gang Risina. Xin Jorwa se du Bena Xin Linsom Jorgo Yor, the Linsom Jurdu Po Yimba Molin Jorswa, Mo Yimba Polin Jorswa, Yang Molaman Jorswa, Delatz Zitang Jingdo. Then Napajet
Po mo
Po Mo Jors, Mo Polin Jondra Yora. Mo Polin Jondra.
Things like Gutula dinner.
Marima, Jitan Koran Ying Jondra Yoro. Mo Polin Jor. Young Ma Mollinger, young Chapolin Jondoa. The Kayek, not so sometime on the Sola Euro.
It's a chignala.
Kayek, Dumbo Polinger, Paul Mollinger, more Manelingers, the Ravin at the Euro. Canton seen Linsom Jersoina, then young Dombat Dom Partilla Euris. Then you bought the
Mikola Piora, but a magic puina, put it Bumukios or not, and it Temasum de Netina, and it Domba Dongora.
Jula Domba Yogora Tambo, Corona Domba Yogora.
In a really Puchik Domba Yo, any Coram Pumo like your, any Koyang Pull like your, any commanding like your, any Domba Dongore.
Port Mollinger more the Manelingers and Tapachet, the Manel Domba Jig Domba Ne. Calacabo, Rata Luke Ton San Tamaina. Healing some Jura, Jikten. Denini Bade or Transgression Gona. Oh, yeah. Denini Bade the Getza Chepa. Give it Zava Chesuna. Teni Domba Don Royas. Teni Sumba then Chempoas, Dan Chempoas, the Dangage Sosota Domba so Mahipardo, so Kelin Roy de Mayos, I hit the Domba Hyundor Domba Hurzen, a Dongri said that zone didn't Madonna the Tico longer, the Hena Domba Matomba Yoris. Teni Domba J Lapa Perne. Maransuta Domba Song to Samari. Sam Natini, Domba Yapia, Yorwa Yampu, Sozoketa, Domba de Yapu, Deni, Tenari Mato Yang, Domba Orita, Kanta Tendaven, Yanangeta, Madonwa Yori is only. That Domba Pia got such a lago Samarava. Mayan some Japona.
The Lakota. So yeah, so it is saying that it is also possible that the vows are not abandoned through these causes of abandoning. So in terms of these causes of abandoning, so what this means is that there are 4 different causes that lead to the abandonment or the loss of one's vows. So, and this one is here saying that it's possible that they are not lost through these causes of abandoning. So, not the general claim is that those causes of abandoning lead to the loss of vow, and so according to this, assertion, it is said that so those 4 causes of loss, number 1 are, that is when one's, I guess, if one's gender changes 3 times. So let's say first you're a male. So you already have the vow, right? So you're a male, and then you become a female, and then you become kind of a neutral. So you go through 3 different genders, basically. So when that happens, then you're losing the vow. And the second one is when you lose the vow, when your roots of virtue become interrupted. The third one is you're losing the vow, and this is the point actually referred to here, at the time of death. So in general, it is said that when we take the individual liberation or pratimoksha vows, we take them until we die. And then some people think that then after we have died, we have lost, in a sense of the vow has become empty. And the vow has gone away because we have died. So some people say that. And the point being made here is that they're not lost when one dies. And the 4th cause of losing one's vow is that if one actually feels that I don't want to have this vow, I can't keep those vows, so then one offers them back. So one gives back one's vows.
Domba de Hajang Zambo Song do Tini Henro Jima Hetzardu, Jewa Yimba Jilin, the Jewa Tikani, Koranzo Wambo Randu into the Lamsang Numa Domba de Yaposon to Sung Sam Samno de Flying Tikala Se and Grace, the Luticala. Sepa the Nyamdala Koran Domba Yubuke, the Nak Semde. Tenaka Jezoglo, the heat yoris, tin the heat yuza, that take a domba de yodi yoris on.
And so here we are talking about not losing one's vow at the time of death. So, for example, there are some who take a vow and they keep them meticulously in their lives. And then they die, and then they take on a new body in the next life. And because they've had this vow in the past, they have a sharp mental faculty that allows them to, allows for that vow to again awaken in this life. So again, this state of mind that wants to have a vow awakens in this life. And from their perspective then, they have a perception of having this vow. And so this shows that the vow is still there.
All right, and that the Pamba in the balloon or Jin song. The Karcha Chada Yore. Then the Pamba balloon or Jin dinner Yore. You know, Dorji song on the patcher. Dorji song did Zavan under the patcher chair, sorry. Do it.
Dorji song Shamba go by the Marawa.
Goba thinking la tan the pajet here or what here. They let up on Kukoya Lelaboy. Pamba ye balloon or Jin said the Garret Sena. Aranzo Domba Pamba yet the pena Masang Jug Pamba yek doso the Garisna, Masang Majuba, so Majuba, Machula Mazum Yeba. Carrero, so you Mazimba Malimba Riva. That Tinanke, Tanaka Domba yet the Tanaba song to the tin and it Domba Jake Horson and a pen Marzini, Tabaji Horson, Domba the Horsona. Tenida Domba Yin Tamje, Oh, tanga domba hyorsong di domba yin tamji nami we tanda chia yo maris. Pulun norjin yin se du chu di chupo je ma chupo je la chupo je yin bala ko ke pulun go yoris ma yin la. Yin na korang la pamjir tarong yoris. Di na yin je cha de yo zang domba je la che parche sin na yin da tamje mi ba na yin zawa ni ne chia yo mari yin da domba de cui yin de song go yoris.
So then there is, I guess, sub-verse in the same kind of category. And so it says that we maintain something like the view that such a person is a wealthy debtor. And so there are four like vows and four downfalls, and then there is their opposites. Which is the opposites would be not to engage in sexual misconduct, not to kill, not to lie, not to steal. So if one has those four vows, and if one breaks one, for example, if one steals and one loses the vow of not stealing, then so other people claim that if one loses one vow, then all the other vows are destroyed together with that. So here, this is saying, the point being made is that this is not the case. If you lose one vow, the other ones are still intact and to be kept. For example, it is like you are a rich person who gives a loan to someone else. Even though you gave a loan to someone else, you're like a wealthy debtor. You're still wealthy. It's just that somebody owes you something. And so it means that you still have the other wealth, and you haven't lost everything. So even though you have lost one vow, you still have to keep all the other vows.
Oh, yeah. Hatna yai gusaro. Oh, sunam de tamje zigbanye, tobanye be dana bazen. Digan anje balon joba, zube zola joba jo. Sanjo sunjo rambo che maje bana jije. Jiba nyamba me baya gona gonda bewa jo. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.